with your host, Doug Duke Perrin here. The footage is going to be boring until things liven up, so sit back and relax. I'm doing great. Now things are livening up. We got Master of Ceremonies, Rick Perrin, orchestrating the people at the moment. This is a big production. When you're my height, you do.
It's been 50 years of incredible bliss, and all of our and I'm sure you've all got stories to tell. Anyway, we'll be real brief with this because we don't want to go on and on with speeches. We want to be able to talk to each other and everything else, but we've got a few things to show. Oh, and Mom, I lied. I did know something was going on today, so I had to get that. Anyways, we just wanted to let you guys know how much we love you and how incredibly, gosh, not surprised, but just satisfied we are that you
BG fraternity brother, Rick Perrin, asked me to say just a few words about his mom and dad. And I thought, well, that's a big deal. Just how do you choose just a few words when you've got such wonderful people and friends as special as these? First of all, this is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill 50th wedding anniversary. This is an unusual one because, it's not uncommon to have people tolerate each other for 50 years. Here's a happy marriage. Gee, that's unusual. More typically, it's like this guy that says his friend, my wife's an angel. The other guy says, you're lucky, mine's still alive. That's a general problem. Well, why is this such a happy thing? Peggy and I have known these folks for quite a while. We've been with them a lot. Some very stressful occasions sometimes, and we've traveled a lot, played bridge, played tennis. Never a quarrel, never a harsh word between Bob and Della. My wife's not here, so I can say it. Anyway, it is an unusual thing, and we've found it's a simple answer. It's a happy marriage because Della does whatever Bob wants to do. Like, for example, Bob wants to cook a carrots every night. Just a minute, let's think. That's just a little arithmetic. 50 years, that's 18,250 nights. I say 6 carrots this little orange tinge. Well, anyway, then they said, well, does Bob deserve this girl? Well, maybe he does, you know. He does do a lot of things very helpful. You know, some men, they think the wife's like some kind of a gadget just screw in the bed to get the housework done. Not Bob. No, he really pitches in and helps. He does grocery shopping. He's even learned to cook. And I finally could run a vacuum cleaner, and he does it. That's pretty good. Compatible all the way through compatible. Irvington up in the locker room, he was just a couple weeks ago. Heard him say, boy, were we sexually compatible last night, Bill and I. I had a headache too. We both had a headache. You know, that's a pretty old joke. In this case, it's true. And I'll tell you about Satan is that he doesn't have very many headaches. That later. Well, anyway, this is a special couple when I hear her. I'll tell you, we love you guys.
At this point, I'm going to pass the ball to my Uncle Wes. And he's got a few words with a few, maybe, I don't know, visuals as well that might be on the show. So at this point, Wes?
Yeah, hi, I'm the kid brother, and I have finally a chance here to come up with some of my older world here who's, you know, always ruled the roost, but tonight we get a few minutes here to get back. What we have here is, the theme of this gathering is It's a Wonderful Life, which has been for these folks, and has been, I hope, for all of us who've known them, you know, It's a Wonderful Life. And you may remember Jimmy Stewart was in a movie by that, and we called Jimmy, but he wasn't available this afternoon. So we're going to have to try and if I do a movie, we're going to do a few slides to demonstrate, you know, the power of it. It is a wonderful life. And we've got problems because it's such a nice sunny day here. We thought, you know, we schedule this thing in August, it'll be raining, you know, and we can have nice dark clouds so we can see the slides really well. But in this case, I ask you to have a little imagination, squint, and hopefully you'll be able to see some of these, at least reasonably well. At any rate, without any doubt,
Amy?
It has been a wonderful 50 years. I mean, you know, it's a point when you look back and really realize that actually it's amazing. You consider back there were these two young, you know, teenagers, you know, back in Park Rose High School in those glorious days here. Beautiful ravishing Della Perrin here. And again, this little squinty-eyed kid here. You know, what did she see in him? You know, I mean, it's amazing that it's going to come forth and been a positive thing. But they got together and it looked kind of interesting. And then, unfortunately, you know, why World War II, you know, imposed itself on the romance. So my brother got this sneaky hat to wear and necktie on, and he had to go to basic training. He was going to be in the Air Force, and, you know, basic training is a rigorous, very serious, pressure-filled, you know, very difficult period of time, and he was struggling with that. Here's a picture of him in basic training. And he's one in the middle here. I guess these are flight instructors. I'm not sure. You know, and this is, as I was saying, friends, was, you know, he had to go to first year. Then he ended up in San Marcos, Texas. In Texas, can you imagine that? Texas. Oh. What?
Is this the Big Daddy Karen party?
Oh, yeah, this is the Karen party. But I don't know if Big Daddy's sitting down there, I think, there, you know. Are you girls from Texas?
Well, at last, I'm Lucy Bell, and this is Scarlett May, and we've been trying to track down Daddy Perrin for 50 years now, ever since he hightailed it out of Jackson. You go up there and try to find our Pappy. Yeah, when he left us some dust.
probably Tara.
Aw, shucks. I thought he looked too much like a Yankee.
Now you folks all now go out and have a good time and don't let us spoil your fun at all.
Yes, with all these nice folks here, it looks like a wonderful life in the Bible.
Direct from San Marcos there, you know. Well, anyway, flight training progressed. Here to come back to our story now. And of course, before long, Billy Bob was navigating here on these B-24s. And the problem with this is the war was dragging on, and he was writing these long, flowery letters back to Della, a couple of which I pilfered and used to read, you know, under the covers when I was back over there. A lot of stuff we still have, we don't have them. But he wanted to get out of there, and the war was dragging on. So finally he picked up the phone one day and he called MacArthur. He didn't realize this, that he was on pretty close terms with General MacArthur. And he said, I got to get out of here. Della's waiting. I want to get married. And I can't. He said, okay. He said, I can let you go. We really need you. I got you go because I think maybe, you know, there's a way we can, you know, this thing ended up there. And Bob said, well, I've got an idea when to send it to you. MacArthur said, well, okay, I'll take a look at it. And, you know, by golly, the idea worked. You know? So anyway, that progressed on then, that by golly, the nuptials did indeed happen at Park Rose, you know, the community church there, 105th and, I guess Prescott, anyway, out there. The bride wore a white satin and marquisette dress. I've seen a good marquisette in some time. The full veil held in place by a headdress of orange blossoms, and her bouquet was a nosegay. I thought that was her first. White gladioli and orange blossoms. How romantic, huh? Indeed. Well, things progressed from there. Before, lo and behold, there was a bouncing baby boy. I'm sorry you can't get this sharper, but there is Roger, you know, at an early age on his daddy's knee or his mommy's knee, bouncing up here. That was the first new arrival in this happy marriage. And then came along little Barbara here, you know, sitting here and looking up at her daddy there, trying to perform some magical tricks there. Little Barbara came, and then little Ricky came along here too, on the knees there, showing up there. Nice glasses you have there, Roger. Right out there. Of course, Barb was coming into the debutante stage here on this side in here. So the happy family was progressing forward here in a good way. Oh, I forgot to say that I had a Christmas slide I threw up, but these guys are great at Christmas presents. Look at this wonderful ensemble they got for me a couple of Christmases ago. An apron with matching earmuffs, you know. Type of thing you could sure wear to a Rotary meeting, you know, or any other, you know, standard program there. So just a demonstration of their good taste, you know, what you frequently see. Bob also has good taste in his clothing, you know, periodically. This, I believe, is part of his bottle collecting uniform. He's collecting bottles there, a nice, you know, excellent bibs there. And I don't know how he did on bottles, but he did collect Della here. Pretty nicely. So we have a hand equipment in that store. And also, believe it or not, you saw that in the front, he actually did attempt to grow a beard one time in his life, you know, that centennial there. And Dell put up with that, you know, that scraggly thing that came through there. And they survived that period of time, you know, just to their lasting credit. Now, as years went by, Bob increasingly, as you know, became very interested in tennis. This was an area that he, of course, obviously wanted to dress, you know. I mean, before there was Andre Agassi, you know, wearing odd apparel, why there was Bob Perriman, you know, the hat and socks, you know, a combination here that you frequently see in Sports Illustrated. And Della, bless her, is putting up with this, you know. And as you said from Mo here speaking, they had a Penny Peggy and Mo Morrison here at the Special Olympics program that they went to recently, tennising, and they had a number of wonderful excursions together. And I just want to do well on one of these here to get a demonstration of what it takes to make a happy marriage. Is that Morrison, a remarkable fellow, had told Bob, look, we need to go to Egypt, he said, and actually went to Turkey. And the reason I think we should go there is that I know this travel agent who's incredible. He really knows that country well. I'll get him to line up some stuff with us. This is the travel agent. Very high price. But, and this fellow, this travel agent, when they went there, he said, look, the thing to do is don't locals, when it comes to transportation, go to Hearst. I've got an excellent deal on Hearst, and I can guarantee that you'll have the best possible transportation that you could want. And so I guess that's the V8 model on the right there that Dave Ray would come up with there. So we can, and then the last thing, Morrison's a really clever fellow here. He said that what we want to do to really understand the culture, get inside of this, is that we've got to see if we can't immerse ourselves in the Egyptian culture so that we can indeed get really inside. And so he said, if you'll just help me a little bit here, Bob. And then we can with the arrow seem to be the immersion. That's it. Bob with the camera and sort of, you know, and this is the, you talk about the Arabian Nights and this type of thing. These Egyptian days, I guess. Well, these fellows were only able to take a few pictures and waddle around their Della, on the other hand. Immediately, this tall, dark fellow sprung out of the aisle, you know, and wanted to give dance lessons, you know. But she said, no, really, my heart belongs to Bob. I have to stay in there. So back again, this is just a reminder. Many happy days on Royal Court. I think there's some neighbors here, you know, about how they were able to keep that place so nice and tidy. Bob had a little trouble fertilizing there. But by and large, happy domain for many years. Really carried on. And grandchildren, of course, began to arrive. 3 of them here, you know. I think my really great 3 who are all here, you know, a great addition to a happy life. And before long, you know, it was the 40th anniversary, you know, just really the 40 come up with the tribe had gathered here, and then I had to make one adjustment here for Barbara on this picture. I don't think you'll be able to see that there's one fellow we erased here up on the other side. Groups there. That's an inside family joke. We got to die that one 40 years, you know, came on right, you know, it is my gosh, you know, 50 years, and then indeed, you know, it's a wonderful life. And we salute.
Be great, and we want all you guys to do some more intermingling and whatnot. There is going to be a toast by the cake, which is back by the fireplace, which, by the way, was made by the same people that made the cake 50 years ago. I hope it's the same cake. We got as close to the same recipe as we could, so you guys are going to have to tell us about that. Helen Bernhardt. But it's truly been, it is a wonderful life, and you guys have brought us so much joy that our lives are so much more wonderful. And I thought to end this, if my brother and sister would come over here, maybe the 3 of us could kind of stare at my parents for a second and say something sappy.
I don't really have anything to say. I just want to thank you for giving me a Leave It to Beaver childhood that was a little different. It was a little warped Leave It to Beaver life. Most children would go off on their summer vacations and they'd tell me they could water ski and snow ski in the winter, maybe see Mount Rushmore. I got to see the cornucopia mining days. We went to pancake breakfast, and I learned how to gold pan when I was small. And then came the metal detector and the bottle digging, and all of it's been great. And thank you for my wonderful life.
I think that Bob and Della always put aside other things for themselves so that they can make it better for their kids. So, whether it was Little League, I'm losing it. Anyone wants to say any story or a little tidbit right now, wants to get up and say something. I know Ed is just itching over here to say something. You might want to stand up. You got a tale that you want to tell everybody. Now's the time. The clock is ticking. You want to say something, Ed? Take a couple seconds.
I can't.
Like I said, we're going to be brief here, but I want to give the
Well, it's
opportunity.
hard for me to be brief, so I'll sit down. However, let me say this, that Bob Perrin is not that little meek guy you see sitting here all the time. He's got compassion also, but he can be rough. We were on our way to Seattle, and we stopped at the Thai restaurant. And the waiter came up. There was a guy sitting at the next table to us, and the waiter said to Bob, he said, "We've got some beautiful Thai on the menu tonight. It's so tender and juicy. You are really going to like it. There's only a couple pieces left." And you know, Bob jumped up, mad in the dickens, and looked up at the waiter, and he said, "Tongue! I wouldn't eat anything that come out of an animal's mouth." And the waiter paused and said, "Would you rather have an egg?" Now, compassion. Bob has got a lot of compassion too, though. Don't misunderstand me. I was in the hospital, and Bob came up to see me, and there was a fellow in the next bed, and he was from Afghanistan. So anyway, Bob went over and he felt so sorry for this guy. This fellow didn't have any friends or any relatives. No one ever come to see him, and he had tubes all over him. And Bob went over. This is his compassion, and put out his hand and smiled and tried to make a friend with him. And all of a sudden, this guy turned blue, and he said, "Skulaka Polakaskello." And he died right then and there. Well, Bob thought that message was something important, maybe from his wife. So he went down to the embassy and asked what Skulaka stood for, and the guy there said, "Oh, you're standing on my air hose." So you see, he has compassion. Couldn't drive my car for a little while recently, and Bob and Della wanted us to come out to their place for dinner. And by golly, you know, Bob, they offered to come to my house. I couldn't drive, and they'd come to get me, and then come all the way home, then take me back home, and they'd have to go back home. And it just shows the kind of people that they are. And I decided that I'm going to put Bob back in my will. I took him out recently because he beat me in tennis, and I put him back in.
I just got one I like to throw in the tennis thing. There were about 8 guys who used to play down During Club on Tuesday night at 8:45 on court 3 and 4, and they would play foursome, you know, and they'd trade back and forth. If you won on court 4, you'd move to court 3, and they had this really elaborate thing all worked out, and it worked pretty good. One of the guys, his name was Brad Shade, and Brad had a kind of a heart problem and collapsed or whatever. They rushed him to the hospital, and he survived okay. And matter of fact, I don't think they did any surgery on him at all. He just had to take some medications, and he was okay, and survived. Anyway, about a month later, Brad came to the tennis club one night. Well, we had all finished playing tennis. We were sitting there having a cup of coffee, and Brad came in, cracking tears in his eyes. He came in to say goodbye to us all because he can't play tennis anymore. And Karen says, "Why can't you play tennis anymore?" He said, "Well, you know, I've gone through this heart problem." And he said, "I've talked to my doctor, and the doctor says I can't play tennis anymore." And Bob said, "What's the name of your doctor?" And Brad told him. He says, "Well, you dummy." He said, "I had the same doctor." He said, "I just got a new one."
Anything else? It probably goes without saying at this point, I think. Yeah. Why don't we go and we'll have some cake and champagne, and thank you all for coming. It's a wonderful life.
Yes.
Oh, really? Rick's going to make a toast.
Sharon goes shooting off my mouth again, folks. Sorry. Want to make a toast? Toast to Robert S. and Della P. Perrin to 50 years of incredible liveliness and fun and love. Congratulations from all of us. We love you and care for you like no words can describe. So congratulations, you're 50.
Hear, hear. Jealous, she's.
Thank everybody for coming. It's wonderful. I don't know if you all know, but my maid of honor even came.
What's that, Mom?
My maid of honor even came.
Where is she? Bring her up.
I don't know where she went.
Mary, where are you? Over here.
Mary.
Come on inside.
She sang at our wedding. And she was singing. Hello, everybody.
All the way from Menlo Park.
I've been thinking. Anyway, come and have
Hey, Guy.
Hey, don't.
Hey, Guy, where's Dad? Where's Dad?
Don't try and kiss me. You're going to try and kiss me?